Close your eyes and picture the worst toothache you have ever had. That deep, throbbing pain that takes over your whole head. Now imagine it with no dentist, no painkillers, no antibiotics, nothing. For almost all of human history, this was reality. A single bad tooth wasn't just painful, it could actually kill you. So how did ancient humans survive it? Here's the strange part. Their teeth were in some ways healthier than yours. But when something did go wrong, it went horribly wrong. To understand how they fought back, we have to look inside the mouth of a caveman. Let's start with a surprise. If you looked at the teeth of an ancient hunter-gatherer, you would find something shocking. Very few cavities. Far fewer than most people have today. Why? The answer is on their plate. Ancient humans ate tough, fibrous food. Raw roots, wild plants, stringy meat. Chewing all of that scrubbed their teeth clean with every bite, like a natural toothbrush. And there was almost no sugar, no bread, no sweets, no soda. Sugar is what feeds the bacteria that rot your teeth, and they simply didn't have it. They even invented the first dental hygiene. On Neanderthal teeth, scientists found tiny grooves made by pushing a small stick or bit of grass between the teeth to dig out food. The first toothpick, over 50,000 years ago. But nature isn't perfect. Cavities still happened. Ancient humans loved one thing above all else: honey. And honey is pure sugar. They also chewed on sweet fruits and sticky plants. Slowly, that acid ate through the enamel, and a hole formed. Now here's where it gets terrifying. Today, a cavity is a quick trip to the dentist. Back then, there was no such thing. The hole would grow deeper and deeper until it reached the nerve. That's the pain you can barely imagine. And there was no way to make it stop. But it got worse. If the infection spread from the tooth into the jaw and then into the blood, it could turn deadly. Quick question before we continue. How do you think an ancient human tried to treat a rotting tooth with only stones and plants? Keep a guess in your head. The answer is more clever and more brutal than you'd expect. This is where our ancestors did something incredible. They became the world's first dentists. Scientists found a human skull that is 14,000 years old. Inside a rotten tooth, they saw scrape marks. Someone had used a sharp flint tool to carefully scratch out the decayed, infected tissue. It was raw, painful, and done with no anesthetic at all. But it was real dentistry, thousands of years before dentists existed. And they went further. In another ancient jaw, over 6,000 years old, scientists found a tooth with a hole filled by a cap of beeswax. An early filling, sealing the tooth from the pain. For the agony itself, they turned to the plants around them. They chewed clove, which contains a natural painkiller that numbs the gum, the same chemical dentists still use today. They packed cavities with herbs, resins, and roots to fight the infection. With no medicine and no tools, they read the land like a pharmacy. And here's what connects all of this to you. Every time you feel a jolt of pain from something cold or sweet, that's your tooth's nerve, the exact same nerve that terrified our ancestors. The reason you fear the dentist's drill is written deep in your history. But here's the twist. In one way, we have it far worse than they did. Our modern diet is drowning in sugar, in our drinks, our bread, almost everything. Ancient humans had stronger, cleaner teeth on their wild diet, even without a single toothbrush. We have dentists, but we also have the perfect recipe for rotting teeth. So the next time you brush, remember, you're fighting a battle our ancestors barely had to. That clove oil trick they discovered, it still works. That fear of tooth pain, it's 50,000 years old. We like to think we've mastered our bodies, but every ache in your mouth is a message from deep in the past. If you want to know how ancient humans survived something even more painful, watch the video on your screen next. And if you're the kind of person who never stops asking why, subscribe. A new question about ancient humans every single day.